Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. It is Monday, November 11th, 2024, Veterans Day. Thank you all you service members who have made the sacrifice of time and dedication to this country, because without people like you, who knows what the state of the country would be in. I get the feeling that a lot of other countries would love to take over. Anyway, on my way to pick up my wife, Suzette, for some lunch. But first, let's get a car wash. So I love this little car wash. It's just down the street from where we live. Self-service. You pull in, they run you through on a conveyor belt. If you want to get your vacuuming done, they have a lot of little stations there for you. It's perfect. I remember back when I was younger, a long time ago, the drive-through little automatic car washes were never really that good. They took forever. Usually did one car at a time. And if you're in line, you could be sitting there for 45 minutes with just like 5 cars in front of you. Like that's a waste. And it really wasn't that good of a job. You had to really catch a lot of the missed areas. Anyway, about to pull in now. Make sure I don't run into anybody. That would not be good. Clear. It's empty. The joy of being your own boss and working your own hours. You can go during times that people don't show up. And I'm approved. The gate opens and off I go inside. So I wonder how loud this will be on video, but we shall give it a shot and see what happens. She's probably going to try to move me, but I'm not going to move. And all right, thank you. And let's see, make sure the windows are closed, and off we go. So now you're going to see some water and soap if you're not familiar with a car wash. Anyways, so what I thought I would talk about today are a few things that have taken place just prior to me starting this, what do we want to call this? My daily thoughts. So before I started doing this, a couple of big things kind of happened. Noteworthy things. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm pretty loud. Let's start with the good one. The Dodgers won the World Series. Yes, I'm a lifelong Dodgers fan. I can remember being a young kid of about 10 years old and having the game on my little TV. My dad was a TV repairman. That was his job, his career. So we always had TVs in the house, and we all had TVs in our rooms. Kind of a luxury, but it's one of the benefits of having a dad who does that for a living. But I had a little TV, I don't remember, it was probably black and white, in my room as a kid. But I remember the Dodger game being on, and I'd always watch the Dodgers, and just loved it. And back then, you could watch it anytime you wanted. There was no blackouts, and there was no, you need to pay for cable, and because they're the ones who have all the TV rights. It was Channel 11 in our area, which was, I believe it was still Fox. I don't remember how it was designated back then. But they had the rights, and they would show all the Dodger games. And I really don't remember as a kid. I assume it was all the Dodger games, but maybe they didn't show some home games, but I don't know why they wouldn't. But anyway, so I'd watch a lot of those, and the commercials were always the same. You know, it was always Farmer John's commercials for bacon and sausage and Union or Unical 76 gas stations. That was a big sponsor, along with Datsun, which was before Nissan. Changed the name to Nissan. It was Datsun before that, and I remember all those Datsun commercials. And so those were the big ones. I'm probably missing a few. Cal Worthington was a huge commercial back then. I don't know if it was necessarily a Dodger sponsor, but that was a commercial that just popped in my head, so I thought I'd share. But anyway, lifelong Dodger fan. They won the World Series this season. Wow, you know, they did have the best record in baseball, but that was a struggle. And I want to say that the other teams kind of struggled a bit too, because it's one of the first times in a long time where the teams went into the playoffs and they all seemed equal. You know, they all seemed like they had a fighting chance. Even the wild card teams, they weren't, you know, so drastically different in their season records. So it really felt like, okay, everybody has a chance here. This is going to be very interesting. And the Dodgers had a really tough year with pitching. So many of their pitchers were injured, out for the season. So they kind of, I wouldn't say they stumbled into the playoffs suffering, because they did put themselves together pretty decently at the end there. Picked up Flaherty, Kopech, I think that's how you pronounce his name, a couple of pitchers, and they really helped out quite a bit. And everybody else really came together and shined, especially our pitching staff at the end. We had a couple of horrible games, but as long as you only have one here and there, I guess it's recoverable. And that's exactly what they did. So that was great. Loved it. It was a full season. There was no strike. There was no COVID. There was no anything, because they won in 2020. But everybody's like, well, that was a short season. That doesn't really count as much. And which I have no idea why anybody would say such a thing. Hold on. People are driving any which way they want. It was still, even in 2020, it was still a matter of everybody's competing at the same level. Everybody has the same chance. So I don't know why some people would just have something bad to say about it. I guess if you don't win, you find a reason to complain. But anyway, even in 2020, that was the first championship we won since '88, and I remember '88 too, and I remember watching that series. That was a great series. That was a great season. So I was thrilled to have the 2020 to a horrible year of 2020 was with COVID and everything. That was a great month in October. So now we have another one, 2024, only a few short years later, which I've never experienced that in my lifetime, to have championships in baseball that close together. I remember back in '81 when the Dodgers won. I was in high school. For some reason, I remember the games being played during the day. Why would you have day games of the World Series when everybody, or a lot of people, are at work or doing whatever they do? And in my case, being a student in high school, why would you have games during the day? You know, let people get home, watch the game. I don't know. I guess probably the whole TV rights thing didn't really play a big role in their income maybe at the time. I don't know. Who cares? I digress. But anyway, I remember we had a TV in our library in high school, and I remember trying to sneak peeks at the score to see what was going on, because there were no cell phones. We had no anything to carry around. So during classes, in between classes, you had no idea what's going on. So I'd have to go find that TV, and the librarian must have been watching it, so we were sneaking peeks. But yeah, then 88. So I guess that was only 7 years later. So I guess I can't really say I have no experience with that short time period of between championships. But yeah, but between 88 and 2020, what a dry spell. Anyway, just wanted to say that it was a great championship run. I really thought the Padres might get them again in the first round. I would even be willing to say that out of all the teams that I saw, Padres were the second best, past the Dodgers. And they're only second best really because the Dodgers won 3 games out of 5. The Padres could have won 3 games out of 5. They won 2. Then I guess they would be the number 1 team and we would be number 2. But everybody else just didn't seem to match up to what the Padres brought. And I hate to say that because I'm not a fan of them, or especially of Machado and Tatis. I don't know. They just rubbed me wrong. Machado was a Dodger for, I think, just 1 year. I don't know if he was there for 2. But I did not like his style. It's always seemed, I'll just say shady. It's just, can't really say much more than that. It's just I just didn't like it. It just wasn't a fit for Dodgers. That's not how we play. You want street ball, go to another team. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that. Very happy. Those who know me know that I've always loved the Dodgers, followed them. Even have our garage at the facility painted Dodger blue. Still need to decorate it more, or should I say, just put more knickknacks of Dodgers around it. But that is the intention. Got Dodger blue walls, got a bright white ceiling. Now we just need to get some Dodger logos around, maybe a Dodger rug to put down. We got some nice flooring in there because we kind of use it as a game room too. Anyway, so that's enough about that. Now let's talk about something that's not so fun to talk about for a lot of people, and that's the politics of the United States, specifically the presidential election. Now, clearly, if you're a Trump supporter, you are ecstatic. He got reelected. But not only that, I believe the Senate and the House both have Republican majorities now. So, pretty much anything the Republicans want to do, they're going to be able to do. I don't know how I really feel about it, because there really isn't any way to know how I feel about it. Of course, I wanted my candidates, and I'm definitely more leaning towards what Democrats want. I wouldn't say that I'm 100% in agreement with how they proceed with things. I do consider myself a progressive, even liberal, but the term liberal is really taken such a hit these days, and I really don't, subscribe to a lot of stuff that the liberals or a lot of the far left people seem to think and talk about and go crazy over. I'm a blend. I I don't really know where I fit exactly. I would be willing to bet that a lot of people feel this way. I can be conservative in many ways, but I'm also a big supporter for changing for the better. If there's things that we can do better, let's do it. Let's change it. It'll be painful for a little bit, but so what? Just deal with it. That's the story of my life, changing and doing things that I'm uncomfortable with. But I'll tell you what, that's where you get your biggest gains. That's where you get your biggest satisfactions in life. Going where you're uncomfortable, doing the hard things. Don't just do the easy things. Anybody can do the easy things. And if that's really all you're after, then so be it. Do the easy things. But you know what? You're gonna live one time. Unless there's some kind of big game plan that I'm not aware of, and I'll never be aware of it until I die. But I'm going to assume I got one time to live here, and you might as well go for it. Because what else are you going to do? Just be miserable, be unhappy, be always wondering, gosh, I wish I would have done this. Should I have done this? Would life have been better? I don't know. Who knows? I made 1 billion mistakes. I've done another 1 billion bad decisions. But I'll tell you what, I've made 1,000,000,001 good decisions, and I feel like I'm very much ahead in life. And that doesn't mean necessarily just financial, but it's peace. It's peace inside of me. It's my emotional state, my psychological state, spiritual. You name it. As long as you keep pushing forward, as long as you keep trying to make positive steps, you will get there. I guarantee it. You're either going to get there or you're going to die trying. Either way, who cares? Just do it. So as far as the politics are concerned, I don't know how I feel about it. Back to that. And like I was starting to say, I don't think I can know how I feel about it until things play out. I'm concerned about a lot of bad things happening. That goes for many things. Let's talk grand scale, big picture stuff. As a country, what can go wrong as a country? Well, we may get drawn into wars that we shouldn't. We might ruin relationships with allies that we shouldn't. Depends on what we do or don't do. So if you're looking at what's going on, let's just pick one. Let's pick Ukraine. The war that Russia has with Ukraine. I know that Trump, well, at least he has said, and appears to not be much in support of funding Ukraine. There's a lot of very outspoken Republicans who don't support all the money. It's not really money. I guess I don't really know exactly what they send, but I don't think they're sending these pallets of cash to them. I think it's more of a military equipment, weapons, ammunition, things like that. And I don't believe there's a lot of support there. I know maybe with the old school Republicans that are still in office, that they do understand why we support Ukraine, why it's important to have allies in that region, especially with Russia and Putin doing what they do. And hopefully they can continue to support that. I believe, and I support us supporting Ukraine or offering support. Guess we'll see how that plays out. So that's one of those things that we'll see how it plays out. If Trump does cut off support, Ukraine is done. I don't see the rest of the world rushing to their aid to cover what they don't get from us. So I think Putin is counting on that and wants that. And if our support dries up, I think Ukraine dries up and Russia does take over. And I don't know how that will play out for us as a country. But that's just us. We might sit there and say, doesn't faze me, it's not in my backyard. Okay, well, maybe not, but where do we stand on helping an ally? Anyway, that's one thing. How about Israel and Gaza? The Palestinians, being constantly bombarded. Regardless of where you stand on that situation, there's a huge humanitarian problem going on, and just phrasing it like that is not even doing it justice. I can't even imagine being in that region, going through what they go through. You would feel like as a human being that there's got to be a better way. But anyway, Trump has given clear support for Israel, and I believe he's even said he supports Israel doing whatever they have to do to get the job done, which might mean even escalating it more, the invasion, the bombing, whatever they do. Now, already, because of all this that's going on, Iran has sent missiles at Israel. And I don't know the details. I know that Israel was involved in some other attacks, or I don't know what they do. Not really following details, but Iran responded. So I feel like I can safely assume that if Trump says, "Hey, Israel, do your thing," and it escalates even more, that it makes sense that Iran's response will escalate even more too. And then what do we do as an ally of Israel when they are attacked by Iran? Do we sit back and say, sorry, not our problem? I know you're our ally, but hey, sucks to be you? Or do we now become involved? So, that's there's so much to be said about that, and I'm not an expert. I'm just, this is just somebody who casually watches the news here and there. Doesn't really, I'm not really like knee deep in the details. And it looks like my wife is waiting for me. Can you believe it? So that's just my 2 cents. So that's it on a global scale. I'll pick this up on the next video. We'll talk more about politics, because this really could be its own video in itself. So let's do that for next time. See you guys next time. Bye.